Hello everybody, it is Steve, your friendly neighborhood lawn gnome. Welcome back to another episode of Stats, Trends, and Picks over here on That's Comical, and if you are watching and it happens to be a Wednesday, happy new comic book day. Well, we definitely saw an interesting turn of events over here in regards to myself and my purchasing in regards to the comics, because a little something happened that I personally didn't see coming. And that is the fact that if we go straight to the purchasing numbers, even though there was one less comic bought in February than there was in January, have you guys noticed something very interesting? Yeah. It's the fact that Marvel Comics has now officially taken the top spot on my purchasing for the month. And why is that? Well, once again, sometimes I really hate to be the curious cat that I am, because I almost always get killed and my 9 lives are running out. But out of nowhere, a crossover event takes place in the world of the Krakoa era of X-Men, and it is the Sins of Sinister. And when Sins of Sinister #1 came out, a lot of members of the comic book community went bonkers over it, saying, you've really got to pick this one up. And since the first week of February 2023 had me only buying 3 comics that day, I was like, maybe I should just pick up Sins of Sinister #1 so I actually have some cash to spend. And it was actually good. I actually enjoyed it and decided I wanted to read the rest of the story. And right now, 4 issues into this crossover event, it's actually not the worst thing I've ever read. It feels very much like what Hickman did with Powers of 10 and House of X, and now, dare I say it, I'm seriously interested in looking into Fall of X and seeing what's going to happen when this Krakoa age actually ends. But I also ditched a lot of Marvel books too, and knowing that I'm no longer reading Thor, I'm no longer reading Carnage, I'm no longer going to be reading Hulk, because that series is coming to an end with issue number 14, but now I'm seriously interested in getting back to Amazing Spider-Man because of the fact that we're finally going to find out what Zeb Wells has been hiding all this time ever since he started to write it. Also, I'm a little upset with the fact that the conglomerate of others took a big dive. Like, literally, nothing is being bought, and there's like only 1 or 2 in the foreseeable future. But yeah, when we take a look at the percentages, we have a tie for DC and Image, and Marvel took the top spot with almost 35% of the purchasing power. And now that we officially are 2 months into the 2023, it is just so strange to see Marvel at the top spot, but I'm pretty sure that is going to change, because knowing what's coming down the line, especially in the world of indies, and of course with DC, because there were some really big announcements that got me very excited, but there were also some very interesting things happening over at Marvel, like Jonathan Hickman is returning for a very special event in June, so I'm probably going to be interested in what that's going to be. But in the meantime, was it a bad month, even though there weren't that many comics bought? Well, we know why I'm not buying that many comics. I'm being a little bit more of a smart investor, so there were some pretty good reads. But the most important thing that we're going to find out right now is, how did I do in regards to my predictions for February? In regards to my predictions in February, I almost had it, guys. I almost had the perfect month. The first 3 weeks of February, I ended up picking correctly, and I was very happy. But then when I saw that I wasn't going to get that perfect month, you know, maybe there's next month. Who knows? Because next month is going to be a 5-week new comic book month. So I'm excited about that. So I predicted correctly for the first week of February, and that was over at Image Comics, the brand new book from Peter Tomasi, who I happened to meet the week that that book came out. It was Blood Tree #1. Now, some people didn't really care for this book. I personally appreciate the story. We gotta start somewhere, but I'm really curious to see where Tomasi is gonna go, because he's a really cool guy. So glad I got a chance to meet him and learn a little bit more about his writing style, and I'm really happy to know that this other book that we've been waiting for from Image and the Mad Ghost label, which is of course Geoff Johns' label, we are still planning to get Snipe and Slug later on this year. He's really excited about it, and right now Blood Tree is just one of those books that's gonna hold us over. But I'm really excited for issue #2. For the second week of February, I gave it to Miracle Man, The Silver Age, issue number 4. I am really excited to see where this story is going because I loved this issue, and I got some big surprises. Apparently, I thought this was going to go on for only 6 issues. It's not. We're getting an issue number 7, everybody. I'm excited for that in May. But the thing I'm not so thrilled about is the fact that this book is getting pushed back. I was hoping to see a Miracle Man issue number 5 show up at my new comic book store in March, and we're not getting the next issue of Miracle Man until April. But I'm going to be waiting on bated breath because I've just been loving what Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham have been doing now that they finally have been able to finish this story, and knowing what's to come and how this story is going to conclude makes me very excited. For the 3rd week of February, I finally got to continue Jeff Lemire's Swamp Thing Green Hell from DC Black Label. Oh my goodness, this was such a long time coming, and boy did it not disappoint. I got everything I anticipated from Swamp Thing Green Hell issue number 2, and I am really excited for issue number 3, which is going to conclude the story, and yes, it is coming out in March, so I am grateful for that. And so to cap off the last week of February 2023, I thought that it was going to go over to Marvel Comics and the final issue of Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise by Tradd Moore. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. As a matter of fact, I really didn't know how to think about Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise issue number 4 because this book didn't even get into my honorable mentions in the last week of February. This definitely deserves a reread, and I need to really, now that I have all 4 issues, I can read them back to back to back so I get the whole story entirely. I'm really excited to revisit this story because, my god, it was such a trip, and maybe getting the entire story right away, I'll finally figure out what exactly issue number 4 was about. But I'm not disappointed with what my top pick went to, because it went to the 12th issue of Batman Superman World's Finest, DC Comics' most popular book at the moment, by Mark Waid, of course, and this was the second break in the action between big story arcs. Issue number 13 is kicking off the next big story arc, which I'm excited for. But we got a really fun, lighthearted story in issue number 12, and we finally got the question answered. Why do Robin and Supergirl not like each other, and why are they constantly arguing? Well, in issue number 12 of World's Finest, we get that answer, and it is in the form of a first date, and oh man, it is beautifully done. This is a laugh-out-loud, heartwarming story, and the best part about it is Robin and Supergirl getting advice from their mentors. It really is interesting to see the different perspectives of how Superman feels and how Batman feels about the concept of relationships and dating. It's definitely a fun read, and this is still one of the best series that we are getting from DC Comics. Highly recommend that you pick it up. It is never too late to get started. So when we take a look at March being a 5-week new comic book month, what are going to be my predictions? Well, I am definitely going to be giving the first week of March to DC Comics, and I'm giving it to Mark Waid's Batman vs. Robin, which is also now going to be called the Lazarus Planet Epilogue. So I didn't read the entirety of the Lazarus Planet saga, but I did read the Alpha and Omega issues just because of the fact that they were closely connected to this specific story and the fact that Mark Waid was writing it. And I wasn't too thrilled with how the Lazarus Planet story ended, so I'm really hoping that Batman vs. Robin issue number 5 is not going to disappoint. And if it does, at least I'll have another issue of World's Finest to read by Mark Waid. For the second week of March, we've got Jeff Lemire coming back for a brand new story from Image Comics thanks to this big contract that he has, and that is Phantom Road issue number 1. Not sure what this is about right now, but I am very excited, and the reason why I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy this book is because I got some news that sort of made me a little upset, and that's the fact that Little Monsters is going to be ending with issue number 13. I didn't really know how long that series was going to go, but now that I know that it's going to be ending in the middle of this year, I'm just hoping that Phantom Road is going to fill that Jeff Lemire void that I just absolutely need all the time, every day. And with Swamp Thing Green Hell coming to an end as well, finally, I'm just hoping that Phantom Road is good. For the third week in March, we got a big surprise, and that is a brand new 10-issue maxi series from DC Comics, and it is called Superman Lost, a standalone story written by Christopher Priest. Christopher Priest is a name that I have known for many, many years. He is a name I haven't read anything of, and right now, he's not really getting a great rap for his Black Adam miniseries, but now that I know that he's going to be writing another one, and more importantly, the fact that he is tackling the Man of Steel himself, this is going to be a great chance for me to really see what Christopher Priest is all about, and I'm really hoping that he does a great job with Superman. For the fourth week of March, I'm giving so many top spots to DC Comics. I guess we are probably going to end up seeing DC back at the top in March. And I, of course, am going to be giving it to the DC Black Label book, Swamp Thing Green Hell by Jeff Lemire, and that is issue number 3, the conclusion of this story. I have just been so glad that we're finally getting this story in its entirety. The first issue was fantastic, and the fact that I had to wait so long for issue number 2 and still get the book that I wanted makes me really excited for how this concludes. And one of the few things that I will say about Jeff Lemire is, boy, does he know how to stick the landing. I am still trying to find a story that he has written where I have been disappointed with how it has concluded. Whether it was Primordial, or May's book, or Robin and Batman, he still has yet to truly disappoint me with a bad ending, and I don't think Swamp Thing Green Hell is going to give me that. And for the final week of March, I am excited to finally see the end to a story that I have been enjoying ever since I picked up the first issue, and that, of course, is the conclusion to Stillwater over at Image Comics by Chip Zdarsky, issue number 18. This book was supposed to come out in the first week of March, and that was going to have the top spot, but now it looks like it's going to be in the 4th week of March, so I'm just hoping that there's no more delays. I want this book in my hands, I want to conclude this story, and more importantly, I want to read the story again, and I want to talk about it over here on the channel. So that's it, everybody. Those are my stats, trends, and picks for February of 2023, and my predictions for March of 2023. Love talking to you guys about how the comics have been going in my eyes, so please put your comments in the box below. Let me know what some of your favorite comics for February of 2023 were, and what are you looking forward to the most March of 2023. But in the meantime, everybody, I will see you in the next one.